1348, Europe. You wake up, and the street outside your window is quieter than usual. Not peaceful quiet, the kind of quiet that feels wrong. Yesterday the bakery was open, the blacksmith was shouting, children were running. Today, nothing. And deep down, before anyone says it out loud, you already know something terrible has arrived. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're not learning about history from a safe distance. Today we're stepping into it, not as kings or generals, not as heroes, but as ordinary people. Because the Black Death wasn't a story in a textbook. It was a morning. It was a smell. It was fear sitting at your dinner table. You are not rich. You are not important. You are just a normal person in a medieval town, and it is 1348, and something invisible is moving faster than horses ever could. At first it feels like a rumor. A ship arrived from somewhere far away. Some sailors were sick. Then a few families near the docks stopped coming outside. People whisper in the market that it is punishment from God, or poison from foreigners, or a curse carried by the wind. No one understands bacteria. No one understands infection. There is no science to save you, only fear and prayer. Then one morning your neighbor doesn't open his door. By evening the church bell rings, slowly, once, twice, 3 times. You have heard that bell before, but not like this. Not every day. Not again and again and again. The sickness is strange. It does not look like a simple fever. People complain of headaches that split their minds. Their bodies burn with heat. Dark swellings appear under the arms, on the neck, near the groin. Painful, angry, growing. Some call them God's marks. Some call them death's fingerprints. You just know that once they appear, most people do not recover. Imagine sitting at dinner with your family, and your little brother says he feels tired. You tell him to rest. The next day he cannot stand. The day after that, he is delirious, speaking nonsense, eyes wide with fear. There are no hospitals like today, no antibiotics, no real treatment. Maybe someone suggests herbs. Maybe someone suggests bloodletting. Maybe someone suggests prayer. Nothing works. The streets begin to change. Shops close. Markets shrink. People avoid touching each other. Friends stop visiting friends. Weddings are cancelled. Festivals disappear. The air feels heavier. Not because of smoke, but because of suspicion. Everyone looks at everyone else like a possible threat. And then comes the sound you start to dread. Wooden wheels. Slow. Heavy. A cart moving through town, not delivering goods. Collecting bodies. You don't watch it pass, but you hear it, and you count. 1 house, 2 houses, 3 houses. It stops too often. Some people try to flee. They pack whatever they can carry and leave for the countryside, believing fresh air will protect them. Sometimes it works. Often it doesn't. The disease travels with people, with rats, with fleas, with trade routes. You cannot outrun something you cannot see. Doctors, if you can call them that, wear long robes and strange masks with beaks filled with herbs, believing the scent will block the sickness. They look almost like creatures from a nightmare. But behind the costume is just another human who is just as afraid as you are. Religion becomes louder. Churches fill with desperate prayers. Some believe God is testing them. Some believe God is punishing them. Some believe the world is ending. Imagine living in a time where you already believe in heaven and hell deeply, and suddenly death is everywhere. The line between this world and the next feels thin, but the worst part might not be the pain. It might be the isolation. If someone in your house gets sick, neighbors may avoid you. Doors close, windows shut. You begin to feel like the plague is not only killing bodies, but breaking the invisible threads that hold society together. Parents bury children. Children bury parents. Entire families disappear. In some towns, half the population is gone within months. Think about that. Half. Imagine your city today losing half its people before the year ends. And yet, life does not fully stop. Bread still needs baking. Animals still need feeding. Fields still need tending. Survival continues in the shadow of death. That might be the most human thing of all. Even when surrounded by loss, people wake up and try again. The smell of the town changes. Without modern sanitation, without organized burials at the scale needed, the air carries decay. Fires burn more often, trying to clean the atmosphere. People carry flowers or herbs near their faces, anything to feel protected. Fear starts turning into blame. Some groups are accused of causing the plague. Violence erupts in certain places. History shows us something uncomfortable. When humans are scared, they look for someone to blame. The Black Death did not only expose weakness in bodies, it exposed weakness in human behavior. But here is something most people don't realize. The plague did not only destroy, it transformed. With so many workers dead, labor became more valuable. Survivors could demand better wages. Feudal systems began to crack. Power shifted. The world slowly started changing. Imagine surviving. Imagine losing half your town, your uncle, your childhood friend, and somehow you are still alive. The guilt alone would be heavy. Why you? Why not them? Survivor's guilt is not a modern concept. It has always existed. Years pass. The waves slow down. The bells ring less often. New children are born. Empty houses are filled again. But the memory stays. The stories stay. The fear becomes part of the culture. When we talk about the Black Death today, we often reduce it to numbers. 25 million, 30 million, half of Europe. But numbers don't capture the silence of a street at dawn. They don't capture the feeling of watching a cart stop at your door. They don't capture the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. And maybe that's the real lesson. Humans in 1348 were not primitive or foolish. They were just uninformed. They did the best they could with the knowledge they had. They loved, they feared, they prayed, they hoped, just like we do. The Black Death was one of the darkest chapters in human history, but it also proved something uncomfortable and powerful. Even when the world collapses, humans adapt. Even when death feels unstoppable, society eventually rebuilds. Pain reshapes systems. Tragedy accelerates change. And now here's the question that matters. If you woke up tomorrow and half your world was suddenly gone, how would you respond? Would fear control you? Would you blame others? Or would you adapt? Because history is not just something that happened. It is something that reveals who we are. And there you have it. That's what it was really like to live during the Black Death. Do you have another historical moment you want us to step into next? Tell me in the comments.